little background for myself. I consider myself as Guatemalan American. I feel I had a primarily American experience, but I also have my Guatemalan roots. I've been to Guatemala 2 times. The second time I was there, I believe I was 13. I would blend into the crowds. People would not pay attention to me, but the moment I would open my mouth, people would already notice that I wasn't fully Guatemalan due to my accent. Um, I grew up in Inglewood, right on the border of Inglewood and Lenox. Uh, and I went to school in Lenox. Lenox has a high Mexican American population. So growing up, I would be around Mexican people, but I never fully identified with them as well, not being a Mexican. So I never really felt like I could identify with them. And growing up, I actually didn't think about having to identify with people in general because I would be around several different types of people. So I never felt the need to have to identify myself. I was always myself. I was just me having an American experience with a Guatemalan heritage, I guess you could say. But I do speak Spanish. My father made it a point to make sure that the conversations we had with each other were in Spanish. Y cuando teníamos permiso de hablar el inglés afuera de la casa, pero dentro de la casa teníamos que hablar español. Así que he encontrado que el español ha sido una herramienta grande, no solo para navegar mi vida, pero también ha sido una buena herramienta para identificarme, parte de mi identidad, porque siento que este idioma me abre ciertos caminos que no tuviera si solo hablara el español, y eso incorpora en mi identidad también. So having both access to English and Spanish, and the conversations I can have in Spanish and the conversations I can have in English, I feel more of a connection with the culture, the Guatemalan culture, when I speak Spanish, and I feel more of a connection with the American culture, or North American, not even North American, the United States culture, when I speak in English. So yeah, that's just a little background and why I consider myself Guatemalan American. So what is a Chicano? It's a very loaded question. Even Ruben Salazar had had kind of ambiguous thoughts about it, and I quote, "What then is a Chicano? Chicanos say that if you have to ask, you'll never understand, much less become a Chicano." Um, at its very core, I feel like it's very open to interpretation. But if I had to specifically say what a Chicano is, I feel like being a Chicano is a drive to claim or actually evolve your identity past past what it began. So basically evolve your identity, but yet still hold on to the heritage that it comes from. Uh, Case in point, in the going back to Ruben Salazar in his article, Chicanos versus Traditionalists, it feels like in that specific article he's chronicling the conflict between the traditionalist Mexican Americans who want to cling on to the machismo culture, the stoicism, where they endure, where they value endurance and facing adversity with inaction almost, which is kind of like a frustrating something that frustrates Ruben, and he highlights by having the Chicanos frustrated with the inaction and demand change. They see what is happening in the world, specifically with the protesting of the Vietnam War. They see what's going on in the world, and instead of enduring it and just letting it hit them, the draft and all the other wars, and just letting adversity hit them, they dare to see a world where that isn't necessary, where instead of enduring they change it themselves, where they demand radical change and push towards radical change, and it unsettles the traditional Mexican Americans, which is I feel like an aspect of what being a Chicano is, where it's like you understand your heritage and you don't deny it, um, but you demand change. You want it. You want to open up an avenue for more. You want to be able to reject the traditional machismo and antiquated masculine identity of enduring and being stoic, and basically allow something new. So the desire to hold on to the culture is exemplified by Leo Guerra Tezcatlipoca in the article "We're Chicanos, Not Latinos or Hispanics." In that article, Leo chooses to reject the terms both Hispanic and Latino, which have connotations that have nothing to do with his actual heritage. He feels Hispanics includes the Spanish, which are the conquerors of both Mexico and Central and South America. He wants to distance himself from that because that uh, makes his identity more ambiguous, and he wants to solidify it more, uh, which he exemplifies by rejecting Latino as well because it's, Latino means like Latin in Spanish, and that's Roman. That's like Latin is of the Roman Empire, like it's the language of the Romans. So he wants to reject that as well because it's not something he identifies with. He is primarily Mexican or Mexica or Mexicano, um, and he wants to pay homage to that. He chooses Chicano as more of like a it cements his connection to the Mexican heritage and culture, um, which exemplifies both the want to progress, the progressive need to change and lead the way and pave the way for something new while still remembering your ancestry and your heritage and everything that came with it, both the good and the bad, both the conquest of Spain or the conquest of Mexico by the Spanish, and also the rich culture that was gifted to them by their ancestry. So to me, that's what Chicano means. Chicano is identifying yourself as a child of two worlds, a radical statement saying, I want change, I want more, but never forgetting where you came from, never denying your roots and heritage and everything that comes from it.